Fox News reporter Jacqui Heinrich questions Karine Jean-Pierre on if Biden's going to hold a press conference right after the midterms. And we have Real Clear Politics reporter Philip Wegmann catching Karine Jean-Pierre in a lie. All of that and more here on The Bald Brad Show. Welcome to The Bald Brad Show. It is Election Day, November 8th, and as always, support the show by hitting that like and subscribe button, as well as leaving your opinions in the comment section below regarding anything that we cover in today's episode. Your help and support would be greatly appreciated. With that being said, our lead story of the day is Fox News reporter Jacqui Heinrich questioning Karine Jean-Pierre during the White House press briefing regarding if Joe Biden is or is not going to hold a press briefing after the midterms and answer the press's question. Wait till you get to Karine Jean-Pierre's response and then Jacqui Heinrich's follow-up, folks. This is one you're definitely not going to want to miss. Hit that like and subscribe button. With that being said, let's roll into the tape.
Okay. Thank you, Karine. I know you said from the podium a number of times, including today, that the American people will hear from the president the day after the midterms, but his statement or remarks is not just a departure from the traditions that the president has promised to restore to the White House, but it also doesn't allow this sort of nuanced discussion about what signal voters are sending in the midterms or how he plans to engage with the new Congress. An outside observer might conclude that he doesn't want to have a press conference because he looks poised to lose control of one or both chambers. So why the day before the midterms won't the White House commit to holding that traditional post-midterms press conference the day after the election?
You've been covering this administration for the past 20 months, right? As you know, it takes some time in any administration to lay out what the schedule is going to be. I have been very clear. You're going to hear from the president. He always enjoys taking your questions. I'm sure he'll take your questions as well. I'm just not going to get ahead of it. I'm just not going to lay out what his day is going to specifically look like on Wednesday. But again, he is going to address the American people, and I think that matters. He's going to be clear about what's on his mind, and I'm just not going to get ahead of it.
So it's a scheduling thing, folks, as if they didn't know the midterms are coming up. It's a surprise to all of them. Look, addressing the American people is different than holding a press conference with the free press to answer their unvetted questions, of which he rarely does. He'll take a question here and there, and we all see how he answers those ones. God, it is horrible. When have we ever seen him on that podium? Ever? In 20 months? We haven't, folks. We haven't. That's the answer. So he's going to address the American people, maybe answer a couple questions or just completely dodge them altogether. And the question was, is he going to hold a traditional press conference with the free press, Karine? That's the question. But you're going to say it's scheduling. Well, you've been working here for 20 months. You've been covering us. Don't you know the answer? It's unbelievable.
From here. The president's own warning, though, that democracy is on the ballot, plus this potential for unrest, make it that much more important that the president avail himself to the free and open press that he has lauded as indispensable to the functioning of democracy.
Damn, what a question. What a freaking question. And you package it in a way, Jacqui, that was just completely just smacks her right upside her head, utilizing their own words. Damn, you did good on this one.
The president has been very clear about where he stands when it comes to democracy. You've heard him talk about democracy over and over again. He talked about it last week at how important it is for the American people as they are thinking about the choice in front of them, what's at stake. He's been really clear. He's condemned political violence. This is a president who the reason why he decided to run for this office was because of what he was seeing. You know what he talked about, the soul of a nation. So I disagree with your premise as if it is something that is not important to him. He has made this an important issue. And
it's not important to him. I don't mean to keep cutting her off, but dude, it's been 20 months and he has to have vetted questions. I mean, we all seen the card where he has to be told to sit down. This is the person who you're going to be talking to. This is who they are. Make sure you breathe, Joe. Just breathe so you don't pass out. He's never stood on that podium. He hasn't done a full-fledged press conference with all of them. That's what they're eagerly waiting for. That's what we're all eagerly waiting for. But we all know it's not going to happen. There's no way in hell that guy would survive a press conference like what Karine Jean-Pierre is doing. But he's been clear, you guys. Yeah, he's been clear calling MAGA Republicans a threat to democracy and that our democracy is at stake. This is the biggest election that's ever existed in the human of mankind, or whatever the hell he wants to say. But yeah, he's not going to sit there and address the press, which is a tradition, after you're just going done and saying, hey, If you basically vote Republican, there goes our democracy, there goes our country, whoop-de-doo. Yeah, it's just a bunch of crap, and then they can't fathom why they're not getting elected. They can't fathom why they're getting shellacked at the polls. We got knuckleheads like this that are mouthpieces for the leader of the free world that can't answer basic questions. And then when you got a fabulous question from a Fox News reporter, Jacqui Heinrich, that uses their own words, she don't know what to say. She don't know what the hell to do.
Again, I'm not going to get ahead of it. The American people, which is what matters, specifically, is going to hear from the American people.
About press access, not democracy.
It's all about press access, not just democracy. I don't know who that was in the back, but damn, this happens twice in this press briefing. First during this segment and then one during Philip Wegman's segment, which we'll get to in a moment. But it's right. It's not just about democracy. It's about talking to the press, which also helps do investigation, getting word out to the American people. Not everybody watches the press briefings. Not everybody watches Joe Biden because he falls asleep half the time, fights with his teleprompter. I mean, I watch it just because it's entertaining, because I want to see what word he's going to slip up on. You know, is he going to fall asleep once again? Is he going to lose his train of thought? Is he going to call Joe Biden? I mean, there's so much stuff. The possibilities are endless, you guys. I mean, it's a fabulous thing to watch here. But there you go. She's not going to answer anybody's questions. They don't want to get him out there answering the press's questions because it's going to fall apart. I mean, we literally seen an interview on 60 Minutes where he falls asleep mid-interview, and the interviewer goes, Mr. President, wake up, Joe. Wake up. I mean, it would literally be a bloodbath from the press if he were to sit there and take unvetted questions from them. Can you imagine the content that we would get here on the Bald Brad Show? I promise you, I'll make a deal with all of you. If he does a press briefing here and he's going to take unvetted questions, no joke, we're going live. Bring the coffee, the beer, the popcorn, whatever the hell you guys eat and drink. Boy, we're going to have a whole event with it, folks. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be the best press briefing you've ever seen. All the lights in the back. I see you. Where are you, Jim Acosta? I mean, Trump would have a field day with it. We're going to have a field day with it. With that being said, let's go into our second story of the day with Philip Wegmann catching Karine Jean-Pierre just straight in a lie, folks. This is one that you really, I know I always say you don't want to miss it, but God, he does a fabulous job here of asking her questions regarding these coal plants. Watch how she spins it and then gets caught in a lie. As always, folks, support us by hitting that like and subscribe button. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Thank you. You said that the president is fighting for coal communities, but just to follow up, that doesn't mean that he's fighting to keep these coal mines open, does it?
Look, the president, I laid out very clearly about how the president sees his part in this and what he has done. He has through the work of Working Group on Coal and Power Plant Communities, President Biden has already delivered more than $23 billion to energy communities across the country. He has put forward plans that are bringing new energy and manufacturing jobs to states like West Virginia, to states like Pennsylvania. And he has secured critical investment through the Inflation Reduction Act to support coal communities as well. Which he believes is incredibly important, which is why it was included in the Inflation Reduction Act. And that's from funding for coal miners suffering from respiratory challenges to billions of dollars in loans to help them seize new energy opportunities. So again, I mentioned this, I just laid this out. While we're trying to help coal communities, while we're trying to do everything that we can.
Anybody see the answer? I'm looking for it. I can't find it. Did any of you hear it? I don't hear it. I don't see it. I mean, where's the answer here? The question was about keeping coals open, and you've been very clear that you want to shut them down. She goes, well, we're giving them this, and well, if they have smoke inhalation and coal inhalation, we're going to help them with that. I mean, where's you keeping these things up and running and giving these men and women work here? Where's that answer? We all know what's going on because he wants to shut them down, and he is going to shut them down because he wants to get rid of the fossil fuel industry as a whole, including coal, folks, including coal. She's lying right here, flipping through her stupid notebook that never answers anybody's questions. Just do away with the notebook, Karine. I'd rather you just be like, I'm not going to answer your question today. Next one. Save us all the freaking time, not an hour press briefing. You flipping through that damn notebook that doesn't answer anybody's damn question. So frustrating.
To make sure that they have the funding that they need. Republicans, that very same policy, same monies that I just laid out, Inflation Reduction Act, which is where it's coming from, Republicans want to repeal that, taking away the efforts that we're trying to provide for coal communities.
So that sounds like you're helping them as the market through economic transition is moving away from coal. That doesn't sound like you're taking any deregulatory efforts or any steps to help the mines themselves stay open.
Yes! Perfect follow-up, Phil. Thank you, brother. God, he's on top of it. I don't know what's going on with the press, folks, but they're killing it. They're killing it under the Biden administration with these follow-ups. Let's continue.
Correct.
Look, I've been very clear. The president's been very clear on this. Don't have anything more to add. Again, we believe what he was trying to say was twisted, and we've laid that down very clearly. You heard from my statement. You heard from what I just said.
How was it twisted? This is where she's lying. She's caught in the lie. It wasn't twisted. You literally said you want to shut them down. This is the same bull crap where he's like, well, I'm doing everything I can for the fossil fuel industry. I'm doing everything I can to lower gas prices. And then we get him on tape going, yeah, I'm not going to do no new drilling. No drilling whatsoever. No. I'm not going to do it at all. Stop lying. God, it freaking frustrates me. It frustrates me.
It said here today.
Twist those words. He said we're shutting those plants down.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I said it. The press are doing a great job. Look, I know we hounded them under the Trump administration, but God, they're killing it, folks. They're doing great stuff here by calling out the Biden administration for their lies. Look, the press want answers, and they're not getting it. God, they have to be so frustrated. But there was no spinning. You heard it from the horse's mouth day in and day out. The guy wants to shut the coal plants down. There's no spinning here. They're just lying about it. A freaking day before the elections.
Go ahead, Phil.
Different question. Marco Rubio, the ranking member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, criticized the administration by saying, quote, by giving TikTok influencers the platform of White House visits and creating content, Biden is signaling to the world he believes it is safe to use an app that is beholden to Beijing. This comes after TikTok admitted that some European data was accessed in China. Is the president signaling to the American public that TikTok is safe?
Wait, can you say that one more time? Because that was a lot.
There's a lot, sorry. So the gist of it.
It wasn't a lot, Phil. Okay, we're all on board here with what's going on with TikTok and is it safe to use and what's going on with the Chinese Communist Party kind of tracking Americans. No, we're all on board with you, brother. Here, you've asked a similar question about TikTok about 3 times now, and I'm curious, honest to God, if you've even gotten an answer because this is the 3rd or 4th time. But the reason why she's stopping you and wants you to repeat it because she's looking through her binder for an answer that says anything about TikTok. That's what it is.
Is that Rubio argues that by hosting some of these TikTok influencers here at the White House, that the president is essentially, quote, signaling to the world he believes it is safe to use an app that is beholden to Beijing. My question is, does the president see it that way? Is he signaling anything about this application?
So just to be very mindful here, not going to comment on TikTok while the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, as you all know, review is ongoing to address concerns posed by the app. So generally speaking, the Biden administration is focused on the challenge of certain countries, right, which is including China, as you just mentioned to me, seeking for leverage digital technologies and Americans' data in ways that's presently unacceptable and is not safe for our national security.
Did I not call it that she's just looking for something in her binder that says the word TikTok in it? Did I not freaking call it? Is that her job? Is just to sit there and just have her staff write up a bunch of stuff about like just random things about TikTok, about China, about Russia, gas prices, diesel, whatever it may be. She'd be like, yeah, as long as we got something that refers to it, I'll be able to read it off regardless of whether it answers her questions or not. This administration sucks.
At risk, puts our national security at risk. So, look, we are taking the steps that we can to address this challenge. For example, the president issued the first ever presidential directive defining additional national security factors for this very said committee to consider in line with the administration's national security priorities, like protecting America's sensitive data. And last year, the President Biden put forward an executive order to protect Americans' sensitive data from collection and utilization. So we will continue to look for other actions to deal with this. And again, I don't want to get too far into it, but I can lay out what the president has done.
There's a risk, and that review is ongoing. Why continue to invite these folks to the White House to create TikTok? I never thought that I'd be asking a question about TikTok, but there are a lot
I feel like you've asked me questions before about TikTok.
There are a lot of parents who are looking, at this seemingly benign app, and then they're seeing reports that because of the parent company ByteDance, which is Chinese owned, that there's a risk, and then they see the President of the United States as appearing on some
No,
of their children?
I hear your question. As you know, the president uses different mediums to communicate directly with the American people, including young people. We think it's important to communicate directly with them, but we understand, right? We understand the issues that TikTok presents itself with, and so again, we use different mediums. I just laid out what we're trying to do in our efforts to deal with the issue that you just laid out. Don't want to get too much into it because it's in front of the committee, but we take this very seriously, hence the executive order that the president did, and we will continue to do that.
Thank you, Karine.
Okay.
If you take it seriously and you know that they're tracking Americans and they're tracking officials, why would you invite influencers to the White House to be with the president, and you know this information is being sent to China, the CCP, but you understand it and you understand the security risk with it, but yet you're going to continue to invite people over into the White House with this technology? How does this make any sense that you're going to say that you understand Phil Wegmann's question and you understand the risk that's involved, and then you're going to lay forth all these things that you've done and you understand that they're tracking and all these things, but yet you're still going to allow the president to utilize TikTok and have influencers and other people invited to the White House to carry forward with that risk? Hey, you know what? Continue this messaging, please. It's content. It just shows Americans you guys don't have a clue what's going on in the White House. It just shows that if you as a mouthpiece for the leader of the free world can't answer basic questions, neither can Joe Biden, which is why he's going to get shellacked in 2024, which is why you guys are going to get shellacked today during the midterms, because you don't have a clue. You don't have a plan, which was also covered in this press briefing. We didn't cover that clip. They don't have a plan, you guys. They're just laying forward what they did in the past. The question was, proposed to her, well, wouldn't it be important to kind of lay out what you're going to do with the new Congress? No, we don't see it that way. I understand what your question is, but we just don't see it that way. They don't have a plan because they don't have a clue what's going on anything. They haven't fixed anything these last 20 months. It's unbelievable, folks. Support us by hitting that like and subscribe button. Make sure you go out and vote, and I'll see you all tomorrow here on The Bob Brad Show.